$100 bill used to be a big grocery trip. Now it's a normal one. You didn't get worse at shopping, and the food didn't get fancier. So where did the other cartful go? You keep waiting for it to come back, telling yourself the prices are temporary, that one day the receipt will shrink back to what it used to be. Here's the part nobody says out loud. That day isn't coming. And it's not because inflation is still raging, inflation actually cooled way off. The real reason isn't that inflation is high. It's that we're all hearing one specific word completely wrong, a word the news uses every single month. Let's start with that word, inflation. When the news tells you inflation is cooling, your brain hears prices are coming down. That's not what it means, not even close. Inflation isn't the price. Inflation is the speed the price is climbing. So when they cheer that inflation dropped from about 9% down to around 3, they're not telling you prices fell. They're telling you prices are still going up, just a little slower than before. Think of it like a car. For 2 years, grocery prices were flooring it, accelerating so fast you felt it every single week. Then the car eased off the gas, it slowed down, but it never hit the brakes, and it definitely never went into reverse. It's still moving forward, still carrying prices higher, just at a gentler pace. Slowing down is not the same as backing up. There's a technical term for prices actually falling. It's called deflation. And here's the thing, almost nobody in charge wants it. A little bit of rising prices every year is considered normal, even healthy. So the entire system is designed to keep prices drifting up forever and only argues about how fast. I know that sounds like a conspiracy. It isn't, it's just how the machine was built to run, which means the higher prices you're staring at right now aren't a temporary spike waiting to pop. They're the new floor. So here's how that floor gets locked in and why it almost never drops back down. Economists have a wonderfully honest name for this. They call prices sticky. Prices are quick to go up and incredibly slow to come down, and there are real reasons for that. When a company raises a price during a crisis, changing it back costs them effort. They'd have to reprint, relabel, renegotiate, retrain. Why bother? When there's an easier answer, just leave it. And then something quietly powerful happens. They discover you're still buying at the higher price. The customers didn't revolt, the cart still filled up. So the new price isn't an emergency measure anymore. It's just the price now. And there's a deeper reason the price can't just snap back even if a company wanted it to. When prices jumped, so did wages. The workers who stock the shelves, drive the trucks, and run the registers got paid more because they had to keep up. And wages are the stickiest price of all. Nobody accepts a pay cut just because a supplier's costs eased. So once higher pay gets baked into the whole chain, the higher cost of making and moving your food is locked in behind it. The old low prices weren't just a number. They were built on a world of lower costs that no longer exists. Then stack a second thing on top, compounding. Think of it like a snowball. Each year of inflation doesn't just add a fresh layer, it makes the whole thing heavier and harder to melt. A small rise rolls on top of the big rise from the year before, which was already sitting on the one before that, and the ball only ever gets bigger. Add it all up, and grocery prices are now roughly a third higher than they were back in 2020. Not a third higher than the peak, a third higher than before any of this started. It's easy to let all that compounding blur into one big abstract number, so let's look at what it actually did to two things you might have bought this very morning: beef and coffee. Ground beef climbed to a record of around $6.90 a pound, up about 78% since 2020. Your morning coffee did something even wilder. The average price of ground coffee more than doubled. So when you feel like you're loading up the same cart and handing over noticeably more money, you're not disorganized and you're not bad with money. The cart really did get more expensive, and it's not planning to apologize. If having this stuff decoded is your thing, that's the whole channel. One everyday mystery, taken apart every week. Subscribe, and Penny will keep pulling these apart with you. Now, you might be thinking, wait, I swear I saw a price drop. And you might be right. Let's talk about the one big exception, because it proves the entire point. Eggs, for a stretch. Eggs went absolutely haywire, briefly shooting past $6 a carton. Then, just as dramatically, they came crashing back down. So prices can fall, right? Here's the catch. Eggs didn't fall because inflation cooled. Eggs fell because the specific thing that broke them got fixed. A severe bird flu wiped out a huge share of egg-laying hens, supply cratered, and prices spiked. When the flocks recovered, the supply came back, and the price sank with it. That's the only way grocery prices reliably drop, not because the overall trend reverses, but because one particular shock heals. For most of your cart, there is no bird flu to recover from. There's just the price sitting there, staying put. So, what does all of this actually mean for you standing in the checkout line? It means the $100 bill in your wallet is quietly doing a different job than it did a few years ago. The number on the bill didn't change. What changed is how much cart it commands, and that's the part that stings, because it happened without a single dramatic headline. There was no crash, just a slow, steady climb that never gave anything back. Your money didn't get smaller, the prices got taller. So here's the empowering part, and it's a real reframe. Stop waiting for prices to fall, because that's waiting for a bus that isn't scheduled to come. The relief you're actually looking for isn't cheaper groceries. It's your income finally climbing faster than prices do. That's the race that decides whether life feels like it's loosening up. Not prices coming down, but your paycheck catching up and then pulling ahead. And lately, with grocery inflation cooled to under 3%, that race is at least a fair fight again, which it absolutely was not a couple of years ago. There's also a simple trick for feeling the change clearly instead of just vaguely resenting it. Stop measuring your groceries in dollars for a second and measure them in your own time. So ask how many minutes of your work one cart now costs versus a few years ago. That's the number that actually matters because it quietly folds both sides of the race together, what you earn and what you pay, into one honest figure. If a cart used to cost you an hour of work and now it costs you an hour and a half, that gap is the whole story. And it's a story you can watch shrink as your pay catches up. And here's a small thing that changes how you read the world. The next time a headline shouts that inflation is falling, you'll know to translate it. It doesn't mean your groceries are getting cheaper, but it means they're getting more expensive, more slowly. Those are wildly different promises, and knowing the difference means you'll never again feel crazy for looking at a slowing inflation report and a rising grocery bill at the very same time. Both things are true. They were always going to be true together. So here's the one thing to carry out of here: prices going up slower was never the same as prices coming down. The car eased off the gas, but it never threw itself in reverse, and the road only goes one direction. That $100 bill isn't buying less because you're doing anything wrong. It's buying less because slowing down and backing up are two completely different things, and only one of them was ever actually on the table. Now you know why you can stop waiting for the old prices to come back. And if you want to see the other sneaky trick happening in that exact same aisle, the one where the price stays the same but the box quietly gets smaller, go watch your groceries shrank but the price didn't. Penny will meet you there.